Hello! I've decided to start doing some live coding. I've actually never done this before, so it might go horribly wrong. If it goes horribly wrong, I might not even upload it, or it might be a triumph, or probably it'll be somewhere in between. So bear with me. I might have to pause it. My cat might come in and knock things over. I might have to redo bits. I really don't know how it's going to go, but this seems like a really good way of getting my relatively meagre knowledge about R and Shiny out there, and I thought I'd give it a try. So here we are. The task. So I work with a lot of patient experience data, and now a newly added task for me also is working with staff experience data. And we collect a lot of comments. We have a sort of tick box questionnaire, but actually most of the interesting stuff comes from comments. We have a lot of comments, a very large amount of text data. I'm looking at maybe trying to mine it using sort of statistical type approaches, but that's not what I'm going to be looking at today. I have for some time desired some solution that will allow people to more easily explore what's in the words. So try and get a feel for what people are talking about, and then try and read some of the comments that are associated with those things. That to me is the key, is giving human beings some sort of context about what's in the data, and then allowing them then to actually read the comments verbatim, rather than just knowing that the word food appears lots of times. I count it 170 times. That's not really that meaningful. Why don't we let people find out, you know, what people are saying? Are they saying the food is terrible? Are they saying it's brilliant? Are they saying whatever they're saying about it? So I'm going to try and do this. I've sort of come up with this arbitrary notion that I'll do it for 3 hours to see what I can do in 3 hours. As I say, this is the first time I've done this, so I don't really know how it's going to go. There'll be lots of me searching the web and getting confused and doing things wrong. So be ready for that. You might want to watch this video at high speed. I make no apologies for that. I make no apologies for my slightly rubbishy code. I am what I am. If you learn something from this video, great. If you're better than me, then even better. You make one, and I'll watch yours. I would genuinely be grateful for anybody to point out anything where it could be improved. Right, that's enough ramble. Let's get on with it. Okay, so you can see here I've opened an RStudio window, so I've just done the very basic setup. I really want to go all the way through just to talk about some of the things that you could or should be doing in your R code, but I have just taken a little tiny bit of time to set it up. So I've created a folder using the new file Shiny Web App, and it's automatically populated with the server.r and the UI.r code. Oh, instantly I should say, I'm going to assume if you're actually trying to follow along with the code here that you have a basic understanding of Shiny. I'm not going to be going into the depths of that. I would hope that people who don't really know Shiny will still get something out of it, because they'll be able to see the process, but I'm not going to laboriously explain everything, because that would take far too long. I have actually recorded some videos which are available to buy on that subject. Not necessarily saying you should buy them, it's up to you. I'm just saying I have, but this is not that. This is just me programming to the best of my abilities and seeing where I go. But as I say, I would hope that non-Shiny programmers at least can get something out of what I'm doing, and I will try and explain things as I go along. Anyway, so set up a new Shiny Web App. You can see they give you all the boilerplate there, and I've popped some data. You can see I've popped it in the file explorer down there in the folder that I'm in, and all I've done there is we have a large data set that contains all sorts of different variables, but all I've done is I've taken out the comments. We have little numerical codes that give the computer an idea about what the comments are about, that I may or may not use in the 3 hours. I haven't decided. And also I've made sure to pull out all the comments. People can consent to having them online or not. All this data is shared freely on the internet, except for people who opt out of that. So I've obviously stripped all of those comments out, so none of those are in there. So this is only people who've consented to have their comments shared on the internet. So there's no kind of, there's no issues with that. And I've stripped away a lot of the extraneous variables which don't really do anything. I've just left in what's called a directorate. That's like a little sort of service area. So is it children and young people, or is it adults, or is it older people? That kind of information. And the comments, and as I say, some of the numerical codes that allow the computer to have some handle about what things are about. But we'll perhaps talk about that a little more as we go through. Okay. let's have a start. So the first thing we need to do is we need to just sort of build a basic Shiny app that loads the data and puts it on the screen. So I'm going to do that. So the first thing that I always do whenever I load one of these boilerplate Shiny apps, they are quite useful because it does automatically save all the code in the folders and all that kind of stuff, so that is quite good. But you don't need any of this stuff at the top, so let's get rid of that. And you don't need that extra bracket which drops out when you do that. And actually I have to say, I'm going to try and do this, you know, as I say, to the best of my ability. So let's do something else, which is let's have what's a global.r file. So those of you who don't know about global.r, it's a file which is sort of loaded once when you're running on a server and then just sort of left there. So I won't go into all the details, you can read about it if you're interested, but I use it, I deploy a lot of applications on a server, and so I always do all the data loads. Anything long and complicated gets refreshed overnight on the global.r. And so what I've started to do is, even when I'm developing in a situation like this, I write the code as if it's going on a server. A, in case I move it to a server, then it's less work, and B, it's just, you know, it's a good habit. To be honest, I didn't use it for years, but I actually quite like it now, because it's just a way of, so your server.r ends up, it's just got your, I'm pointing at the screen, you can't see, can you? You know, it's just got the reactive stuff in it, it's just got the shiny bit. Any rubbish you need, any mucking around you need to do with data and chopping and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So mentally it helps me to, you know, realize what I'm doing. So right, off we go. So we're just going to load the data in. Load testdata.r. Just make sure that works. Oh, speaking of which, yes, I haven't set the working directory yet. I'm deliberately doing that on the video. So this is good practice as well. Let's do good practice. So let's make this a project. I'll probably be uploading it to GitHub anyway to go along with the video, so it's going to have to be a project eventually. Oh, it wants me to save. Okay, just a minute. I'll save this as global.r first. Right, where are we? You see, this thing hasn't configured any of the directories or any of that stuff, so we're in here. There we go. Right, global.r. Oops, that's not how you spell global. Global.r. One of the fun things about this video for bonus points is I am trying to teach myself to write this instead of this in R code, because I'm trying to enforce a style guide at work. So you can play along at home and see how many equals I write by accident and whether I even notice that I've done it. But I'm trying to do that, so that's another thing that I'm doing in this video, is trying to exercise good coding style. Right, okay, so new project. The following files have unsaved changes. Yes, that's fine. Save selected. Yes. And we want to associate with an existing directory. Project working directory in here. That one. Yes, create project. Okay. So just very quickly, for those of you who don't know about RStudio projects, first, you need one if you want to use Git and GitHub with R, which you should definitely do. I'm not going to talk about that today. Maybe I'll do another whole video about Git. That would be a good idea, actually, because I'm very into Git at the moment. It is quite hard to use. I've been struggling for a long time, but, you know, as I'm already starting to see the benefits, even, you know, with my sort of relatively poor use of it. And it also is just neat because it automatically sets your working directory, and, you know, so you don't have to. I know Jenny Bryan, I remember reading on Twitter, gets very angry if you write in your code set working directory, because it should all be done at the project level. So while we're talking about it, let's initialize the Git repository as well. Why not? So in order to do that, we just need to go to project options. I should say you're going to need to install Git on your machine in order to make this work. I'm obviously not going to talk about that, it would take far too long. I think on Linux it's pretty much just, well, depending on what flavour of Linux you run, but it's install Git. I think, something like that. Windows, I think it's just a binary that you download off the internet, but it's not complicated. Anyway, so we go here, project options, we go to Git, and we select Git. Do we want to initialize? Yes, we do. You must restart. Yes, we do want to do that. Thank you very much. It is brilliant, RStudio, I have to say. It does make so many things easy. Right. So we're all there. Look, we've got our Git going. So we'll perhaps do a few commits as we go through. Let's see how the code goes. I don't honestly know how much I can do in 3 hours really, but let's find out. Okay, right, we're just going to load the data, make sure it looks okay. Oh, no such file or directory. Is that because... Oh no, that's because I haven't misspelled it like a fool. There we go, that's better. I told you I was going to make a lot of mistakes. Let's just check that that loads okay. Yes, indeed. Let's just have a quick look at the structure of it. Load structure of test data. And you can see a date. We've got the service area here. These are the comments. And as I say, these are little codes. I won't go into a lot of detail about what they are now, but I might, as I say, I really haven't decided exactly what I'm going to do with this data. So I might use those. They're produced by a human being who sort of reads them and sort of tags them as to what they are, so that might be useful. Or I might prefer just to do it based on words, as I say. We'll see how we go. Okay, so the data loads. That's good. That's a good thing. That's a good start. So I think what we probably want to do is let's just have... I mean, the problem we've got straight away is that there's a lot of data. Let's just get the data up, I think. So let's just have a text output like this. Now, I'm not going to just draw every single comment. Let me think. Now, we have actually got 2 comments because people talk about the things that they would like to see improved, and they talk about what, you know, what was the best thing, what they liked about the service. I quite want to make this modular really, because part of the way I'm working now is that I'm building this for patient experience data, but actually I've got a whole load of other staff experience data, and it's very much of the same form. It's just the questions are a little, you know, there are minor differences. So I'd like to make it modular. I think for my own brain, mainly, but also partly for this video, I think what I'll do is let's just write, and I think this is probably how most, it depends how good you are probably. Some people probably start abstract, I've no idea. I certainly don't. Let's just write one for the first type of comment first. I'll give it a name that reminds me that that's what it is. And then if I get to it, who knows where we'll be, but certainly offline or at some point, I'll want to modularize this because there are lots of different variables that could that feed into this, and we want it to be able to accept. But we won't worry about any of that now. We'll just hard code all the variables straight in the function, which obviously is not good practice going forward. Okay. So all we're going to do, did I load tidyverse in here? Yep, there it is. You can do all your package loads up here as well. So I pretty much always write library tidyverse whenever I turn R on, because I'm going to use it for something. Even if I'm not using ggplot, I'm using dplyr. So let's just, for now, just to get it up and working, let's just rip, I don't know, say 50 comments out. So let's just take the data, and we're just going to now it's sample. Oh, hang on, I'm not getting the autocomplete yet because I haven't loaded the package. Let's load the package. I'm really excited. I'm doing stuff today that I can't always remember. So I'm really wondering if I can, because I often get confused as to what this command that I want is. I think, is it sample._n or something? Yeah, that looks it. Yeah, okay. Everyone at home is thinking he's cheating. He looked that up. I have got 2 monitors, so I could. If you see the pointer creep away, you know that I'm cheating on the other monitor and googling and not saying. Right, so we want to sample n. This is 50, and this is a good. I didn't know about this one for ages. Pull. It's when you want a vector. dplyr will normally return a data frame. So we just want one thing to come straight out. You can just use that. So that should do it. That should just take random comments and return them to the render text function, which will work. So over in the UI, again, we've got all this rubbish that we don't need. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Title panel. I don't really much care what it's called at the moment, but let's not leave that in because it doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make a lot of sense either. Okay, so what do we want in the... We don't really want anything at the moment, do we? We will soon though. I'm going to add a couple of controls, but let's just concentrate on this now. So this is text output, and I can't remember what I called it now. Let's go and have a look. Improve comments. So these are the comments where people are saying you really need to sort such and such a thing out. So these are what you might think of as negative comments. Okay, click Run App. Let's see how we go. Now it's opening it on my other screen on a web browser. I normally do use a web browser because it's easier. I don't massively like the bundled browser with R, but I think for this video it would probably be better if it came up, because I might use the browser for other things. It's just getting a bit confusing, won't it? Let's turn the thing back on again. I can't remember what this is at all. Options, is it? No, hang on. I have no idea. Just a second. I'm not cheating because I'm telling you. Shiny. I'm just going to Google it. Shiny browser. Oh, hang on. Is this it? I'm kind of guessing. I haven't. Oh yeah, there it is. Shiny.launch browser equals false. Or is it true? No, it's false. Yeah, false. I get that confused. Okay. How are we doing? It's not doing anything. Oh, does that literally do that? Like it doesn't do anything? Have I misunderstood that? Maybe I misunderstood. All I'm seeing actually now, I didn't know about this. Oh yeah, look, here it is. Running window. I should have just done that. Right, let's try now. Ah, there it is. Right. Okay. That's interesting, isn't it? Yeah, we can talk about data as well today. It's not even going to be all about Shiny. I don't know why it's got those NAs in it. I think maybe in the full application, I have something that pulls them out. Is that because there are missing values in it, I wonder? Let's just have a look. Just wondering if they're missing values or whether someone's literally typed NA into the comments box. You see, that's all. I don't really want people to do that. The data import people that I talk to generally, I think they don't do that because I've asked them not to, but there's a whole load of other people who will also enter data, and I don't, to be honest, there are so many of them I can't really kind of sort of keep a handle on them or ask them to do it in a particular way. Okay. Yeah, well, that wouldn't be a good function, was it? Right, let's add up all the let's calculate that. Yeah, there are loads. Okay, well, I don't know. What, maybe that's what's. I mean, well, I suppose I'm not. Why am I surprised that there would be loads? Let's just take them out. Again, this is a good place to do all this kind of stuff. As I say, it doesn't make any difference on the computer because you have to run it each time, but on a server, it makes a big difference. So it's just it's good practice for people who are going to deploy on servers. Okay, let's just take all the. Oh, hang on. Test data equal filter not missing improve. That doesn't work either, does it? Because I've got two comments. I've got data frame, and it's got, so if I filter ones that are missing there, they might have correct values in the other one. So that's actually not a good way of doing it. Okay. What I need to do instead is do it here. It would have been better to do it in global, obviously, because of efficiency, but actually it doesn't work, so let's move it over here. I'm probably explaining too much. That's the question you got to ask yourself. Is it more interesting just to sit and watch me type rubbish, or is it and not me not say anything, or is it more interesting just to listen to me ramble on? I know which one my wife would think, but she's never going to watch this video. So, right, filter not missing. Improve. Okay, so hopefully that will fix the problem, unless people have been literally typing in NA, in which case we'll have to get rid of that as well, which is fine. Oh yes, there they go. Okay. Actually, I think I knew all along that that was totally going to happen. I don't remotely know why I didn't think of that. Never mind. Okay, so the first problem we've got, clearly, is that they're all on the same line. Now, again, I'm being honest, I'm not the most sort of... I don't always have an intuitive grasp of these things. I don't think using a new line is the best. I don't think doing this from memory is a good idea. I think it's better to use HTML in this context, because we are, of course, writing HTML. I think we could probably just paste some little paragraph markers around it. To be honest, I always mess up this .x as well thing as well, so I'm a little bit nervous about that as well. But let's go for broke. I don't think anyone thought I was a brilliant programmer before I did this video, so it's it's not a problem. I think this works. Let's find out. No. I thought that's how you did it. .x. Maybe not. Well, just for realism's sake, let's drag a browser window over here so you can see what I'm doing. I really thought it was .x dplyr, so I'm just going to look up what that is. It's probably just in the basics somewhere, isn't it? Where's that Tinyverse one? That's always good, isn't it? Introduction to dplyr. Is this any good? Let's just see if I can find .x here somewhere. No, it's not here at all. That's, it doesn't bode well, does it? Everyone at home, of course, is screaming at their monitor, but it's so easy to do. And how do I not know this? I've definitely done it. I could find code where I've done it, that's the thing, but who knows where that code is. I don't know what to Google. Substitute variable dplyr. Now I'm thinking about it, this is kind of more... Oh, is it just a dot? It's just a dot. It's not really dplyr, is it? It's Magritte, kind of, because dplyr uses... I kind of model them up slightly in my mind. So it's just a dot. Yes, right, there you go. But of course, what I haven't done is warn Shiny that it's HTML, and I think I can do that. This marks it. I'm just trying to remember whether this is a server side or a... maybe it doesn't matter. Or maybe, can I just write HTML output instead? Create an HTML output element. I think that should work. It's a bit easier than... well, not easier, a bit more clear. Oh, no, it doesn't like that, does it? Because I haven't used the right render function. I think that's the problem. With render UI on the server side, it's currently just an alias for HTML output. Okay, no, I think that's a bit wrong, isn't it? Let's go back on that. So it's text output, and I think I can just mark it as HTML like this. I'm guessing I can probably do it on either side, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't like that either, does it? Maybe that works. Oh, hang on. It's here. The curse of the phantom keystroke. Okay. Wow. So any of those things I just did could have been correct the whole time. I should have guessed that, really. I thought that sometimes the error message is not that helpful, are they? I thought it was just some weird internal of Shiny or something. There you go. It worked the whole time. Well, I got it right first time, even if I did program a big stupid bug on top of it with my big fat fingers. Okay. So here we are. Here's some people. 50 people, 50 comments talking about the things that they do and don't like. Now, some of these comments you'll notice, just to talk about the data for a second, for those of you who are interested in such things, are not interesting. So like this one here, that's not very interesting, is it? None. No. This is the kind of thing that you're going to strip out in a production application. You're probably going to pull those out because people don't want to be looking at that, do they? It's pointless. It's a waste of time. We're probably not going to worry about anything like that today. This is more... That's not an interesting task, I don't think, is it really? Stripping out all the nonsense. But I think you'd want to look at that and pull some of those comments out so people didn't have to waste their time looking at them. Okay, so that's a good way, in my opinion, to start writing a Shiny app. Is just make sure you can draw all the objects load and then draw on the screen, because you do see people sometimes on the internet who've got problems with Shiny, and the reason why they got problems with Shiny is because their code just does not work. It doesn't work in Shiny. It doesn't work anywhere. So don't do that. So and you saw how many problems I created just by doing that. So now we're off, and I think what I'm going to do now, just for full disclosure, is I'm going to stop the video and check that it's working, because this has been going on for a while now, and if it's all gone, that would be a shame. So I shall return. Might just have a bit of a wander around the house as well, stretch my legs. I shall return briefly, and I promise I will not cheat and look up dplyr commands while I'm away.